Hello, comrades, and welcome to the Weekly Worker, number 1500. The Weekly Worker is quite unlike any other paper on the left, whether in the UK or elsewhere. You get the impression with a lot of the papers from various confessional sects around the world that the newspaper is really there to put the party line, and the party line, if necessary, has to make the facts fit. Um, Not in the Weekly Worker. It is unashamedly a paper of Marxist polemic and Marxist unity, in the spirit really of what existed in the Bolshevik Party in its earlier years, where the revolutionary party perspective was able to be forged out of debates and discussion and dissent. What you'll find in the Weekly Worker is really a democratic and open forum for the discussion of contemporary events, theoretical perspectives, and the news of the day. If we just look at this week's edition, we have a letters page, and the letters page is justly famous on the left as being an open forum. We frequently publish letters of people who disagree with articles that have been published in Weekly Workers, and then a rejoinder from the writer of the article. In other articles this week, we have Eddie Ford on crime and revenge, and this chimes in with a superb front cover of the Weekly Worker this week, which features Vincent van Gogh and his picture of prisoners exercising in a prison yard. Eddie Ford raises the question about whether the early prisoner release scheme of the Labour Party is going to be enough, really, to solve the problems associated with the massive increase in prison populations and the fact that they've been overcrowded to the point where we're down to the last 125 vacancies as it were within the prison system. Other articles include an excellent article by Carl Collins on football. In the wake of the Euro Championships, Carl Collins looks at the tendency on the part of some on the left, for example, to regard football as just being an anodyne used for workers to keep them passive, as it were, and instead shows how class struggle is at the heart of many football fans. As a football fan myself, certainly resent the idea that you should have to buy a new T-shirt costing 50 quid every season. And goes on to actually look at football from a Marxist perspective, looking at it in terms of its historical development out of an agrarian society and into an industrial one. Other articles include Mike McNair on the fragile, unpopular front in France. The importance of this article is can't be overstated because, after all, popular frontism has quite a resonance for people. We've heard an awful lot of people talking about, isn't it great that the left got their act together to bring in a popular front in France? But as Mike McNair points out, popular fronts in Spain and France, ostensibly on the basis of trying to defeat fascism, have unfortunately quite often played fully into the hands of fascism by constantly making concessions to the right within the right of that popular front. Paul DeMarty, in his usual eloquent style, has given a devastating analysis of the US elections and what has become known as the debate between the ghastly and the ghostly. And Paul DeMarty's fluent style gives a rich palette to draw upon in terms of understanding what's going on in the United States. One of the features about the Communist Party of Great Britain is it does have a number of expert writers on Ireland, on Iran, on Germany, and the United States. The founding Congress of the Revolutionary Communist Organisation in Australia is taken up by Martin Greenfield in an excellent article which looks at actually not only the very welcome establishment of a revolutionary communist party in Australia and interesting, justifiable influence made by the program of the Communist Party of Great Britain on that revolutionary communist organisation, which is much to be welcomed. Another feature of the Weekly Worker, of course, is our understanding of the British left, and Carla Roberts unpicks Jeremy Corbyn's plan to have local assemblies instead of a party. The fact that Jeremy Corbyn is completely incapable of breaking with Labourism was, of course, the basis for his very defeat. Yes, he's been re-elected as an independent in Islington North, but the extent to which that can really influence things is stymied by the fact that ultimately you get the feeling that Jeremy really wants to just be let back into the party.